You might think that the most important character in The Merchant of Venice would be a merchant, possibly from Venice. But the most important character, in fact, is probably Shylock, the Jewish moneylender. However, there is a merchant, and he is from Venice, Antonio. Now, he makes his money by importing exotic silks and spices by boat from far-off lands. He's rich and successful, but at the start of the play, at least, he's quite sad. Sad! Antonio is a very good friend to his mate Bassanio. When Bassanio comes asking for money to help him sail away and find a wife, Antonio happily offers to borrow cash on his behalf. And as the play goes on, we realise that Antonio would gladly offer his life to save Bassanio. But although Antonio seems kind and generous, he is very anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic. Even though he's a Christian and therefore supposed to love his enemies, Antonio doesn't love Shylock, the local Jewish moneylender. In fact, he's been cruel to Shylock for some time, including spitting on him in the street. And at the end of the play, he even forces Shylock to become a Christian, which is obviously a horrible thing to do to a Jew.
Finished?
Now, Shylock is a moneylender, and whereas most of the characters in the play speak in verse, Shylock often speaks in prose.
All right.
Sort of, he does. And what's more, he's pretty smart and a very sharp businessman. His mind is always on his money, even when his own daughter Jessica runs away. Shylock seems more upset about the money that she stole from him than he is about her. And because of that, and because he's constantly being taunted and abused for being a Jew...
Get off me!
He's a bitter man who wants revenge, and he seizes his opportunity when he makes the deal for a pound of Antonio's flesh if he doesn't repay his loan in time. And when the matter goes to court, Shylock cleverly argues that he's as much a man as a Christian is, and so he'll follow the example that Christians set and exact his revenge on Antonio. But then it all goes wrong. Shylock loses all his money and Antonio forces him to become a Christian. So he's both villain and victim. This is Bassanio, Antonio's best mate. He's already spent all his money living it up, so he needs to borrow some more off Antonio. This time, he wants it so he can sail to Belmont to marry a beautiful, rich heiress called Portia. And she's minted. Now, we can't be certain whether Bassanio's just interested in her because of that. Like everyone else in the play, Bassanio is prejudiced against Shylock, and he's very uneasy about Antonio agreeing to the whole pound of flesh thing. But then he gets one over on Shylock by inviting him over to dinner so that Shylock's daughter Jessica can steal all his money and run off with her bloke.
and I spat in his food. Yeah.
Now this is Gratiano, Bassanio's other mate. He's a fast-talking joker who doesn't shut up.
Yeah, someone's lost their head, ain't they, mate? Got to laugh, haven't you?
Gratiano travels to Belmont with Bassanio and he gets married to Nerissa, who's Portia's maid, almost as soon as he's met her. And the very last line of the play is from Gratiano, who's trying to get Nerissa into bed with a smutty joke about her bits.
Here, I'm going to take her up the Grand Canal. Hey!
Now, Lorenzo here is the guy that runs off with Shylock's daughter Jessica, plus they take most of Shylock's money with them. He's a Christian, which, seeing as Jessica is Jewish, is guaranteed to irritate Shylock. Lorenzo spends a lot of his time comparing his and Jessica's love with that of other famous couples, all of whose relationships ended in tragedy.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
You won't know that, that's on next year's syllabus. So here's Jessica, Shylock's daughter. She doesn't really like her dad, as should be pretty obvious by now. When she runs off with Lorenzo and steals her dad's money, she also nicks a ring. Now, that ring was worth a fortune and was of great sentimental value to your father. So what did you do with it?
Well, I swapped it for a monkey.
Of course. So Lorenzo convinces her to convert to Christianity. Jessica, that is, not the monkey, and at the end of the play, the two of them inherit all of Shylock's fortune. Or what was left of it. This is Nerissa. She's Portia's maid and confidant. They've obviously been friends a long time because Nerissa isn't afraid to tell Portia what she really thinks. Plus, she joins Portia in the cross-dressing deception at the trial. When Portia marries Bassanio, Nerissa here marries Gratiano, although, as I've already mentioned, they've only known each other for 5 minutes and it's destined to last as long as a footballer marrying a model. Finally meets Portia. She's the beautiful and wealthy heiress of Belmont who Bassanio wants to marry. But before he can, he has to solve a riddle posed by Portia's dead dad in his will. It's got something to do with chess and portraits and gold and lead, but if you want to know how it really works, you really will have to read the play. Needless to say, Bassanio passes the test and Portia is thrilled. Hearing of Antonio's troubles back in Venice, Portia offers to pay back Shylock's debt twice over, just because Antonio is a mate of Bassanio. She also helps Antonio in person by sneaking into the courtroom where he's being tried, disguised as a lawyer. Obviously, she's a lady who likes being in control. And indeed, at the end of the day, it's her who dishes out the news that makes each character in turn happy. So make them happy.
The end.